Well, we got some interesting developments today. Another banker has committed suicide. Looks like in Hong Kong, JP Morgan. Hey, it's global, man. It's in Hong Kong, it's in Connecticut, it's in New York, London. I mean, whatever, man. It's all over the place, mainly London, right? It looks like Lee jumped to his death, 33 years old. Now, I got to tell you something about the banksters before I get in with this stuff, because I always said banksters aren't gangsters. They have no association with anything else, and I don't even want to use the term gangsters, but they always use the term mafia with this stuff. They're not the mafia. They're the Illuminati, they're the elite, they're the hoity-toity freaking people that think their stuff don't stink when they take a dump in the toilet. They're not the mafia, and I don't even want to use that word, but I was going to tell you this, when you got elitist like this in the bankster world, don't worry about nothing. It's going to work itself out. Actually, I'm going to get into a couple things. In the meantime, if you work for a bank and you're up there on the 4th floor, 10th floor, the 20th floor, or 30th floor, make sure you take your little pea shooter with you, because someone's going to push you out the window. Okay? Just remember that. Anyway, I got Rocky the cat over here, so I don't have to worry about nothing. He protects me, man. Right, Rocky? You're a good guy, man. Anyway, this was interesting because I'm going to get into some other things here, because I know I'm not going to give you specific information. That kind of information costs money. Sorry, man. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about, I alluded to this on some of my other videos. And you notice I like doing how-to videos, because I don't like playing desk jockey, man. It's a lot easier just click. Well, it's not that easy being desk jockey stuff either. I mean, I don't want to say that, But I like getting into a lot of the how-to type stuff, too. It's not that easy. There's no respect for that anymore, but it's a lot tougher than people think, Anyway, I want to point out something also. I alluded to this before about the Russians in Cyprus. When they had the bank bailouts and the haircut in Cyprus, when Positor's funds took a big haircut, over 100,000 euros, and I know the planes were full of all these Russians and stuff. There wasn't any seats available going to Cyprus because they had to take care of the situation. I'm going to tell you a little bit about tax havens. I alluded to this, and Rocky's, he's one arm on a corporation here, on our little business here, and the other arm is Putin the tax cat. I actually have another video with Putin the tax cat. He's a little cat. He explained everything. He explained it to me, and I related on the video, so it doesn't come from me. It comes from the Putin the tax cat. Now, this information I'm giving you here is coming from Putin the tax cat, okay? Not from me. So, I don't want to be held for any kind of crap, But actually, in Cyprus, it's been known as a tax haven. It used to be 10% for income tax, all right? For ordinary corporate income tax, it used to be 10%. It went up to 12.5%. Now, you compare that to some of the other ones out there, like Ireland's a low one too. They're a tax haven, more or less. But the thing is, with Cyprus, they don't share any information with anybody. Now, I'm going to tell you this. A lot of people love this guy, Vladimir Putin. I'm going to tell you, I don't think he's the top guy in Russia, actually, with the money. I just by common sense, anybody you see their face all the time out in the news, he's too busy, tranquilizing tigers out in the middle of the wilderness and riding his horse and playing games and shit like that to be the head guy. I know he can't be, but he's one of the kingpins, that's for sure. But he tells you about, keeping your money in Russia, and we're not going to use the U.S. dollar. You know why the Russians are using, the big oligarchs are using tax havens in the West? Here's the answer in a nutshell. Real short, one phrase. The Russian oligarchs do not trust the Russian financial system. They don't. You want to argue the point? Fine. You can argue. That's why did they put their money someplace else? And do I have proof of this? No, I don't have any proof of this. I just got it from Putin the tax cat, okay? Now, they want Jim Rogers to lay his money down there, and Jim Rogers is like, yeah, I think that's a good idea, because they're hitting him with the mind meld frequency machine that's telling him that he's going to, I was talking about frequencies can influence people. They can put people to sleep. They can make people alert. They can make people in bad mood, good mood, lethargic. They can make you invest. I'm sure old, they got a lot of shit out there, man. You'd be surprised. He's deep pockets, man. They need his money. I should be his advisor, but he probably wouldn't pay me, so fuck him anyway. Anyway, how does he work? You know, I'm going to tell you this. Don't worry about these elitists, because when certain Italians and certain Jews get together, the hoity-toity elitists on the top that are screwing everybody over, we take care of it. And we keep things rolling. We keep things rolling, man. That's all according to Putin Attacks Cat and Rocky, the other arm over here. Rocky's a good guy, man. He's got a nice calm mannerism till you threaten him. But anyway, Cyprus is a tax haven. Now, what you do a lot of times is you use a registered well, you know about this shit. Well, maybe you don't know about this shit. I know about this shit. But I'm not going to throw out a lot of information out here because, you know, I don't want to say where I work or anything like that. But, you know, it costs money. It costs money. I'll throw out some general information out there. Like Delaware, like if you look in the United States, I mean, that's not a tax haven. But if you have, for instance, corporations, a lot of them are registered in the state of Delaware. That gives the corporation and its officers a lot of legal protection. That's why there's a lot of registration in the state of Delaware. So corporations can get away with a lot of crap. And you talk about, you know, the one basis point. Why did they get away with so much? It's all legal, right? You know why? What is it? Why is it legal? How is it legal? It's been step by step by step. But actually, in the state of Delaware, corporations got a lot of legal, and their officers got a lot of legal protection. That's why a lot of them are registered there. It's not even just because of the income tax rate or anything like that. So actually, say for instance, you're operating in the state of Florida. You know, actually, this is more a little related to silver, because you're going to see what I'm going to be talking about with Cyprus and commodities, okay? And Mr. Vladimir Putin and others like him and all that other stuff. But say, for instance, in the state of Delaware, you are registered as, you know, he's a registered agent, which means so that means you're registered in the state of Florida, in the state of Delaware. So say, for instance, you're actually doing business in the state of Florida, you have to be registered as a foreign entity. An alien entity is actually outside the United States. That could be something like, say, from Cyprus or something, right? Now, if a lot of entities are registered in the state of Nevada, that gives a different type of legal protection to some of the people that are in companies that have companies. Usually it's with subchapter S type companies. That has a lot of like legal protection for the owners of those type entities. But subchapter S cannot be. None of the members can be a foreigner. That's another thing. So if you got a Russian partner, they can't be you can't have a subchapter S. I don't have any Russian partners. I'm just saying this shit. But say you have a Russian or a UK partner, you can't be a subchapter S. None of the members can be a corporation. Within that subchapter S, they all have to be like people, you know, and you got a limit to how many members. I forgot what the hell the limit was, but anyway, with Cyprus, all the Russians are pouring back in there again. You know, you heard about, you know, the big deal with the haircuts and stuff like that. Cyprus doesn't like transmitting information to anybody. They don't tell anybody anything. They don't share any information anywhere, you know. So, you know, and Putin acts like, oh, those guys are doing all the best. He's all part of it. Fucking, you know, one thing, actually, the one where allegedly Putin is connected with, you know, it's all alleged. You can say it's Western propaganda. Get the hell out of here. But it's Gunvor Group Ltd. is a global commodity trading company. It's registered in Cyprus. It's based out of Switzerland. It's all with oil. It's all with trading oil. Now, you know, I'm going to actually point to a video link about the oil markets, how they're rigged, the oil spot markets, how they're rigged out of the head of the New York NYMEX has been actually one of the ones that's one of the litigants that's bringing up the charges that the oil markets have been rigged since 2000. So if the oil markets are rigged up and down, and you know which way the direction is going to go, you're going to make tons of money. Now, you know, Putin's alleged ties he's got with Gunvor Group, you know, it's Gunvor, you know, that's how it's spelled. It's a big oil trading company in Switzerland, but it's registered in Cyprus. Now, I talked about the tax rate. Right, the tax rate went from 10% to 12.5%. which is still like way less than half of, you know, France's 33 1/3% income tax rate. But that's the income tax rate in Cyprus. Now, if you have commodities and capital gains, the tax, it's like nothing. It's basically virtually zero. So basically, you know, what you're having here is, it's a companies, what they do is they'll hold assets. They'll have companies that hold assets in Cyprus, and if they have major capital gains, well, you recognize the gain over there. You know, the gain is, it's the company's actually over in Cyprus. Say, for instance, even though you're physically in Switzerland, or you're in Russia, or in the UK, or the United States, or whatever. And actually, if you had a capital gain on, you know, let's say 200 metric tons of silver, well, let's not use silver. Let's use something really exotic like isotopes, some types of isotopes that are worth way more than gold, that make gold look like dirt. And you had a freaking gain on that. Well, guess what? You don't recognize anything. It's none of it's there. It's like, it's not, it doesn't even go with the corporate tax rate, of which increased to 12.5%. They got even more lenient laws on capital gains. So the Russians are all pouring back in here. Actually, it's like they got they got more Russians in there. It's like, in other words, there's 273,000 companies registered in Cyprus's corporate registry, and the country's population is 839,000. How's that? So, like, you know, 273,000 corporations in a country's whole population, that includes babies to 99 years old or more, is 839,000. So figure that out. And a lot of them are Russian, man. A lot of them are Russian. So, they, you know, actually in January alone, they actually put another 1,454 new companies were registered in just the January 2014 as a tax shelter. So you've also, if you remember, but the people get screwed. The unemployment rate is near 20% in Cyprus officially. Officially, it's probably even worse than that. You also remember that the government will also confiscated 60% of deposits above 100,000 euros to recapitalize their lender, right? If you remember that, in Cyprus a couple years ago. Of course, all the Russians were tipped off, and they went in there and they got their money back, and Putin makes a big speech about it and shit like that, like he gives a damn. You guys are all worried about the Rothschilds, right? Rothschilds, and Putin's against the Rothschilds, right? Well, I don't know what the hell. I think all the elite are working together. So, anyway, I just want to put this out here because maybe it's a little bit of a different angle on something some people are asking about. Well, how do I, you know what? If you're like a filthy rich person, see, this is where the rich get richer. Say, for instance, somebody's like say a rich guy, like with, you know, there is nobody out there that has $1 billion in silver, because it's like it's like for the poor man, actually, because there isn't enough silver out there. But say somebody had $1 billion, $1 billion in silver. Well, you know what they'd do? They'd have an asset. You know, it might be physically located someplace in Montana, in a hole someplace. You know, guarded by, you know, a tank, or I don't know where it would be. But actually, you know, you would have a registered. You would have you know, an entity. You can have it in Cyprus, and you know, actually the IRS even has special tax treaty documents with Cyprus too, and they date back to 1984. So, but the thing is, you do not know. The thing is, actually, you know what? Really, what the people do on the top is they don't like moving metals around themselves. They do it electronically. They don't actually sell the metals. And I don't know if I'm revealing something here. They don't actually sell the metals. They don't touch the metals. They do it all electronically. And you know, this is one of the things you talk about, the exposure to the derivatives. You know, a lot of these things that they have where there's just this big, huge liability out there, you know, an exposure to the derivatives. Somebody, you know, like in other words, they'll be trading up these assets. I don't even know how this works, man. I don't know. I don't know. It's too damn complicated. All I know is they're ripping the system off. And I don't really know that much about it. Putin the tax cat was telling me about it, you know what I mean? And what happened is, they keep trading these assets up, 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 up. And somebody will lose on the other side, but somebody walked off with the cash. But the thing is that liability is like in like La La Land. It could be a loss pushed off to a company that's offshore or something like that, and it's not really showing up anywhere. You know what I mean? And maybe it's on one set of books, maybe it's not on another set of books, and I don't know nothing about this shit, okay? But, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, don't worry about this kind of shit, because I'm going to tell you right now, you know, a lot of people, they use this freaking term, they're always picking on the Rothschilds, you know, I don't even want it, this is maybe going to be unpopular, I don't know shit about the Rothschilds for real, but I can tell you one thing, it's almost like the implication is that the Jews are doing all this stuff, and it's not. Oh no, hell no, hell no. I say they're the good guys for the most part. Not every single one. I mean, you know, not everybody's a fucking saint. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying for the most part. But I tell you one thing: when certain Italians and certain Jews get together, they make it a problem for the real freaking Illuminati jackasses that are freaking screwing people over. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And you know, actually, a lot of these Russian guys, I don't know, not all of them are so bad. They're really not so bad. You know, I know a little bit about some of this kind of shit. Not all of them are that bad. Some of them got some freaking big egos, though, I can tell you that. Anybody's got some money, they got a head about this fucking big. And that's one reason. That's one reason I don't like a lot of people with money. They do get some big fucking heads, but unless they're Italian, then they're all right. You know, then they're okay. They're usually okay. Those guys are okay, because you know, I can tell you right now. I had people in my family, you know, they were like top of their fields. They were in New York. They're doing all this shit. Man, guy used to, you know, the same kind of shit I do. You know, Mr. MacGyver. You know, he'd be laying bricks and stuff, doing the work himself, man. Doing the work himself, doing his own construction work. He could have paid somebody easy to do this shit. He'd just rather do it himself. You know, stay down to freaking earth. Stay down to real. But I'm going to tell you, though, most of the stuff that's going on, yeah, it's like the rich are getting richer due to tax havens. In other words, you can allocate income, you know, say for instance, or assign income over to like your BVI company, your Cyprus company. You can use registered agents to protect your company with through trusts. You know, the income of your company through trust. You can have registered agents that are basically setting up your company in tax haven situations. You know, like Cyprus is one. BVI is another, where Cayman Islands is another. Also, it could be legal protection, like Delaware has legal protection for corporate officers. Nevada has protection for basically like the managing members of S corporations and stuff. And you got limitations on a lot of this stuff. It actually gets complicated. But it's actually, the more complicated it is, the better it is that people don't understand it, though. You know, and actually, that's how they get off. You know, I mean, if anybody ever... I'm going to tell you this, another game of the elite, too, is to make things so complicated that, you know, if anybody even looks at it and tries to investigate it, it's like you can interpret things so many different ways that you just wouldn't understand it. You just wouldn't understand it. You know? You just wouldn't understand it. And it's like, you know, somebody talks really cute and they talk really nice, they get off. They get off. That's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happens. But, I don't know, I just put out a little bit of a convoluted message here, but I wanted to get into some other things because, you know, there's always this standard SOP crap about the Illuminati doing this, the Illuminati doing that, and who the fuck really is the Illuminati, per se? You know, it's anybody that wants the power, you know? It's not really rigidly set in stone. It isn't. It isn't. And a lot of these people, some people that people think they're the heroes, like on the Russian side, they ain't the heroes. And I'm going to repeat again, Jim Rogers, if you invest in Russia, he's going to take into the cleaners, man. The Russians don't even trust their financial system. You know why? I mean, why the hell do you think they're going in Cyprus and they're using the West? And, you know, the alleged things where Putin is using Gunvor Group for oil trading, and he's like, I don't think that's all, you know, I mean, to me, it's obvious as shit, all hell, that Putin is filthy rich. But I don't think he's the richest guy. I don't think he's the guy that calls all the shots in Russia. It just, you know, not that I would notice, but it's always that way. The face that you see on the surface is never really the one that is the main one, or the main group. They would never, you wouldn't even, the public wouldn't even know who they are. I'd almost guarantee you that. So, but, you know, I'm just going to say this again, you know. When certain Italians and certain Jews get together, the Illuminati, they got a problem. They got a problem. And that's what we got in the United States. We got certain Italians and we got certain Jews. They're going to remedy this situation. So I just want people to remember, a lot of these Jews are the good guys, man. They really are. They really are. The wives, they spend too much money. I'll say that. They spend too much money. But the business guys, they're alright. They're alright, man. So, anyway. Anyway, that's the truth, man. They spend a lot of money, man. The more money this guy makes, and he's got all the freaking exposure, man. He gets in trouble, she's the victim, and then she walks off with the money. God, this is ridiculous, man. I don't know where this come up with this bullshit. But anyway, just watch out for, like, what's coming up out of left field, and hold on to your physical silver. And I will continue to put out how-to videos, because I think those kind of videos are actually more important. Oh, by the way, I put out some video about John Corzine, man. And, you know, at first I thought it was bullshit. Then I see like 20 different sites with this John Corzine stuff where they had, what the hell was it? He said that he would, they said he was, a bomb had pointed him ahead of Myra. No. But you know what? It might as well be true, because whoever Obama points ahead of Myra, it's going to be the same kind of character with a different name. You know, I mean, that's really what it's going to come down to. You know, the reason I should have looked. I should have looked at Fox, and you know, if that was true, Fox would have been all over it. But you don't even hear a peep out of Fox, because it was just one of those things they threw out in the alternative media. But it was pretty funny, because, you know. Actually, the way I put it out was about the principle of OPM, other people's money. John Corzine uses other people's money. Anyway, I shouldn't laugh about that, but that's a general rule that a lot of people do, too. And that's a lot of ways people get rich, too. They use other people's money. Now, what I'm revealing here, I don't really give a shit what I'm... Well, like I said, I don't know this. This came from Putin the Tax Cat. I don't know nothing. Putin the Tax Cat told me everything. But, you know, the thing is, you never really would say shit to anybody about anything. You never would. You never would. But I also want to dispel some of this crap about, you know, people thinking all the Jews are doing this stuff. I guarantee you, most of them Russian oligarchs ain't Jewish, man. There might be a couple of them, but whatever. You know, and probably the couple of them that are Jewish are probably the better ones, too. Anyway, so just figure that shit out, man. You know, people don't like me saying that, but, you know, the oligarchs and the elitists, and George Bush and, you know, the Queen Mother of England and all this other bullshit, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, keep chill. And just remember, all this anti-American stuff, anti-Western stuff coming from Russia today, just remember this. The Russian oligarchs, the ones that have the most money and accumulated the most wealth, don't trust their own financial system. And they're back in Cyprus in droves. So figure that out. Figure that out, man. So when they're freaking telling you all this stuff is bad in the West, their shit is even worse. Oh, Rocky the Cat says hi. See, he's sitting here relaxed, sleeping. Tell you what, he turned into a nice, calm cat. He's a really good guy. Look at him, man. Laying down. Right next to him, he isn't freaking out. He's just laying on top of his computer under the shelf, his favorite hiding place. That's sort of out in the open. So tell me, is this guy doing all right or what? Yeah, he's doing great.